What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. In this video, we're looking at the 10-game NBA slate for Wednesday. So after kind of a boring 2-gamer yesterday, we have a huge slate tonight to break down. So looking forward to it. It's first big slate in a while, as the weekends were all like 4-game main slates. So we'll go game by game just because there's a lot of games and I don't want to miss any relevant news. So let's get started. As always, appreciate you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow me on Twitter at the DFS process for updates. Like around 6 o'clock, I post the final core once we get a lot of the news for the day. So let's get started. We'll go first game, Brooklyn against the Cavs. Brooklyn team is getting Kyrie Irving back tonight, so it's going to be interesting to see how like Harden, Irving, and Durant all play together. Last couple games, we've seen Harden and Durant just kind of be a 1-2-man show. But now that Irving is back, he's definitely going to take his chunk of usage. So I think I'll probably just pass on all three, just because this game could easily turn into a blowout as well. So I'm not that interested in this first game. The Cavs have Sexton and Garland both questionable. Garland hasn't played in a while. He's 5,600. Even if he does play, we'll see if he's limited or not. But I just don't know if the Cavs will be able to stay in this game offensively against this just high-powered Brooklyn team. And then Drummond is almost 10,000 now that Jared Allen is there. He's probably not going to see like a full chunk of minutes every single night. So first game, I'm not that interested in a 10-game slate. Second game is pretty, you can definitely get some pieces from. You have Dallas against the Pacers. LUKA was super disappointing in his most recent meeting. Played 34 minutes, only had 35 Draftkings points. Florida with a triple-double, but just couldn't get it done. Only took 11 shots as well. That game kind of got out of hand. So he's 10-7 against the Pacers. I think he looks fine. There's a lot of spend-ups on the slate if you want to go back to him. Probably will have a good performance. But I do like Malcolm Brogdon at only 8,300 on the Pacers side, just because he's so cheap. Given that they're still without LeVert, who's out indefinitely. We'll see if Miles Turner's back, but Brogdon hasn't been as good as we thought. But 18 and 21 shot attempts that he's taken without Oladipo the last few games now that he's a Rocket is great to see. That's just going to continue, and definitely don't expect a guy like him to shoot 7 of 21 going forward. So definitely got to like Brogdon. I like Brogdon more than I like Sabonis at 98. Sabonis is fine, but there's a ton of good plays at power forward and center. And then Kristaps is 79. That's a nice price tag as well. If you wanted to play Kristaps instead of Luka Doncic, he doesn't seem to be on a heavy minutes limit anymore. He played 33 and 32 in a back-to-back situation. So this first game, I think Malcolm Brogdon, or in the second game, Malcolm Brogdon looks to be a piece that I would like to get to at 8,300. And then some of the value plays on the Pacers, they've kind of priced them all up. You're getting Justin Holiday's almost $5,000 now. He's 4,900. Guess the one piece is Edmund Sumner, who looks fine. He's only 3,800. And then you have didn't get a ton of. You got Doug McDermott had a good game, but he's 47, and he also went 9 of 12 and 5 of 7, and then he barely hit 6x value. So he's not a guy that I would like to get to at 47. And then if Turner's out, maybe you can look to Jakar Sampson if he's in, 3,400. But all in all, I think there's still a lot of value plays on other games that we'll get to. But Brogdon looks to be a really good play at 83. The third game, you have Boston against Philly. The Sixers are getting Embiid back, so they're all healthy. Seth Curry is also back, so basically getting a full healthy Sixers team. And in that scenario, I don't think I'll have that much interest in anyone. 96 for Embiid. It's fine, but I don't I think there's better spend-ups tonight. 91 for Ben Simmons, also not going to get to that. Kemba Walker's back. He's on a minutes limit. On the Boston side, they're still without Tatum, so maybe you can look to Jaylen Brown, but they've kind of priced him all the way up to 87, so I don't think there's a ton of ceiling left at the price tag. So this game, I'm not that interested. It'll probably be a fade for me. Next up, we have Kevin Huerter at 9,500. You gotta laugh when you see a price tag like that. I don't know. He's more expensive than Trae Young, so whoever made that price tag was definitely on some sort of acid. But 95 for Huerter, definitely just, I want to see how owned he is, because that will be pretty funny to see. But no interest at all at that price tag. Look at Jeremy Grant at only 7,700. He's been doing a lot better all season. He's been pretty consistent. He's had a number of 40 and 50-point games this season, and the matchup is great against the Hawks here, so you got to like him a bit. You have Blake Griffin. He's been pretty bad all season. He's 6,100 and played 35 minutes, and he only got you 12 fantasy points. Definitely doesn't give you a high ceiling. Definitely a super risky player, so not that interested on a 10 gamer. On the Hawks side, we have DeAndre Hunter, who's probably, I believe, he's been playing great. If Cam Reddish is out, you can look to him again. Definitely looks a lot better than Kevin Huerter. And then Trae Young's kind of been not great recently. He had a good game last time out with 55, but he only took 8 shots. Got to the line 13 times, so he's been a lot more aggressive trying to get to the free throw line the last few games. He's 93 against Detroit. I think there's a lot of good spend-ups at point guard, but he could definitely be in the mix as well. So this fourth game, I don't have a ton of interest in it, but on the Hawks side, you could look to a couple if they're still missing Cam Reddish. Next up, we have Miami and Toronto. No Jimmy Butler once again. We'll see if Tyler HERRO will make his return. He's $7,000. If he's in, even if he's in, I don't think he's a must play at 7,000. Now that they're kind of healthy with GORAN DRAGIC, even though he's listed as questionable or probable, so he should be in there. I think he looks better point per dollar wise without Butler than compared to Tyler HERRO. And then on the Toronto side, Chris Boucher has been killing it recently. He's been pretty popular. Definitely been playing him a couple times and have not been disappointed. Put up 46 in 28 minutes. He's been doing great, even though he doesn't start the game. He's been starting the second half, and the team just released Alex Len. So Boucher's playing time isn't going anywhere. I think he looks great. You can play him at power forward. You can play him at center. I think he looks better than Siakam. That's cheaper price tag. Kyle Lowry and Van Fleet are both nicely priced at 76 and like 75. So you can look at both of them if you want to. Lowry's been playing better and shooting better, so I kind of like him a little bit more. So even though this game isn't like probably not going to be one of the higher scoring games of the slate, I think you can look to a couple pieces, especially like Chris Boucher stands out the most. And then maybe you could look to like Iguodala if HERRO is still out and if just with Butler still out. Moving on, we have the Magic against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves still without Karl-Anthony Towns, so they've been relying on D'Angelo Russell. He's 8,800. He's been playing his best basketball of the season the last week and a half. He definitely looks strong. The matchup's not great. The Orlando team is not as good defensively just because they're missing a lot of pieces with injuries, but I still think he looks fine at home against Orlando. Price tag is getting up there, though, at 88, but probably like my 4th or 5th guy that I'm looking at shooting guard. And then Malik Beasley's been taking a ton of shots, not been making a lot of them. Only made 5 of 17 the previous game, but you do like to see that overall in the season he's still shooting fine on the season, 44% and 38% from 3. Against Orlando, he's going to have to take a lot. It's like he's going to be the second guy besides Russell shooting, so I think he could get hot. I like the price tag of fine on him. Like he's not, if you're making a bunch of teams, he should be in play, but he's not a core piece at that price tag. And then Aaron Gordon had a monster game, $7,400. He's now point guard eligible on DraftKings, so definitely you can play him at multiple positions. You can basically play him anywhere except for power forward and center. So almost had a triple-double. He looks fine. Vucevic should absolutely eat in this matchup against the undersized frontcourt and Naz Reid, Ed Davis, Vanderbilt. He should crush. He's 86. Definitely looks like a great option. And then on the Timberwolves side, besides Russell and Beasley, they did price up Vanderbilt. He's 4,900 now, so I'm not that interested. And then Naz Reid looks fine at 48 just because he probably will start at center maybe, unless they go with Ed Davis in this type of matchup. But both guys, I think, are kind of priced where they should be. Vanderbilt especially is kind of priced above what we thought, so I'm not that interested. You could still look to Josh Okogie at 35. She'll play a good amount of minutes if he's like healthy and playing decent. Moving on, we have the Suns against the Rockets. This game will be fun. The Suns haven't been great from a DFS perspective, just targeting like guys like Chris Paul and Devin Booker. DeAndre Ayton's been inconsistent all season. It's a fine matchup against the Rockets. 7,000 is a nice price tag as well. You could look at Christian Wood, who's been crushing it. He's 8,400, but getting a lot of big games out of him. Almost had a double-double last game, which would have been like 47 fantasy points. So he looks fine. But the guy that I would like to get to is Oladipo at 78. Just running the show now after kind of having to be the third option on the Pacers besides Brogdon and Sabonis. He's now the #1 option until John Wall comes back, and going to play a lot of minutes. I think he looks really good tonight. 54, almost had a double-double, and he had 7 turnovers. So definitely some room for improvement. Even though he shot well, he's going to continue to shoot 20 times, which is what you kind of want to look for. Other guys that look good on Houston are, I think Eric Gordon looks fine at 5,500. Just without John Wall again, he's going to be starting, playing good minutes. Can easily get you 6x value, if not a little bit more than that. Mentioned Christian Wood. I think he looks good. Houston guys are kind of priced nicely, so kind of look to them. And then on the Phoenix side, I'm not that interested really in anyone, just because I haven't really been getting to them, except maybe you could look to Cam Johnson as a cheap value play at only 3,900. Moving on, we have the Spurs and the Warriors. The Spurs have been kind of like playing a lot of guys some minutes. So LaMarcus Aldridge hasn't been getting a ton of playing time. He only used to play 24 and 17 minutes. Kind of was a blowout too, but they do have guys that they can play a lot, like Patty Mills and Pirtle off the bench play a decent amount, as well as Rudy Gay. So now that DeRozan is back, it's kind of tough to kind of go to anyone. On the Golden State side, Wiggins is questionable. If he misses, then that would be a bump for Kelly Oubre. And then whoever starts in his place, maybe Damian Lee would be a nice value play. And then Curry is 97. It's always a fine option if you wanted to go to him as a spend up. There's a ton of guys to spend up for on the slate, so I don't think he'll be super popular. And then second to last game, we have the Kings against the Clippers. Fox, coming off of a monster game, is now priced at 8,900. Kind of pricey for this matchup. I like him a lot more on Fanduel. I just don't have too much interest on the Kings side, except maybe you can look to Marvin Bagley at 5,600. That's a decent price tag. And then Buddy Hield is nicely priced at 6,500. Then on the Clipper side, we've seen Morris start to play a lot more minutes and play a lot better. He's kind of been priced up to 47 now. So back when he was like 37, 38, willing to take shots, now is kind of tough to trust. And then Ibaka is coming back. He's 5,900. There's better plays on the slate. And the final game is definitely gonna you're definitely gonna want to target some pieces from both sides. Grizzlies and the Portland Trail Blazers. Blazers without McCollum. So Lillard looks like a great spend up at 10-4. John Morant looks like one of the best plays on the slate at 73 against the Portland defense. Should be a great spot for him. He's been only back for 2 games, but he's seen 31 and 34 minutes, so maybe he can get up to like 35, 36 tonight. Just way too cheap at 7,300. And then the Grizzlies are without Valanciunas, so that's going to open up a lot of minutes for like Brendan Clark at center. And then they've actually been giving a lot of minutes to Tillman as well. And he's 3,500. Looks to be one of the better value plays on the slate. He's gotten you 25, 31, and 27, 3 games. And now with that Valanciunas, you should see him play in the 20s in minutes at least. Maybe even more. He's kind of leapfrogged Gorky Dang. So definitely think Tillman is a strong play, as well as Brendan Clark. And then on the Portland side, besides Damian Lillard, you can look to Rodney Hood, who is going to be starting in place of McCollum. 3,800, played 25 minutes off the bench. Played 25 minutes as a starter last game. And said he will continue to start, so he looks better than Trent, who's $1,000 more expensive. And you can look to Derek Jones Jr. as well. He's going to play a lot of minutes on nights that he's not really in foul trouble. Like 30, 34. 30 minutes for him looks fine. And then you have Carmelo Anthony, who is priced at 47, so he's kind of priced where he kind of should be. And then you have Covington, who hasn't really been doing anything, but he could be worth a shot. I feel like he's going to have a good game once in a while, and it could be happen soon because he hasn't had a good game yet this season. So pretty much it for the DraftKings side. Let's go over to FanDuel. All right, on FanDuel here, starting off at point guard, you have Lillard at a nice price tag at 10,000. You have Kyrie priced at 92. Not that interested in Kyrie. I think you can look to like John Morant, who looks awesome at 79, as well as De'Aaron Fox. Like those 2 price tags jump off. Definitely love Fox on FanDuel. We looked at Chris Paul as well at only 6,900. So those are the main ones I'm looking at. You can look at DRAGIC as a cheap play at 52, but definitely feel like it's a spot to spend up a bit at point guard. And definitely love the price tags on Fox and John Morant especially. Shooting guard, Russell looks fine at 8,400. Paul George is priced pretty affordable at 85. Oladipo looks fine as well at 7,900. And then just go down a little bit. You have Buddy Hield at 58. That's fine. Price tag has come up a little bit. He was like 51, 5,200 for most of the season. And Hood is 5,000, so he's not interesting on FanDuel. He'll probably take a shot on like Gary Trent, who is only 3,600. So he looks a lot more appealing, but probably go with D'Angelo Russell at 8,400, just without Karl Anthony Towns. Small forward, probably won't get to Durant, probably won't get to Kawhi. I'll probably go look to this position. You could save some money with like Malik Beasley at 66. Harrison Barnes is cheap at 58. Hunter, Oubre, if Wiggins misses, looks even better. And then you have like cheap price tags on Joe Harris is only 45. Justin Holiday is 4,200. Carmelo is 41. So there's a ton of cheap plays at small forward for FanDuel, and I think you're probably going to get to at least one or two of them that look appealing. I think like Justin Holiday, 4,200 for him. He's going to just have to play a lot more minutes for the team without until Karis LeVert gets back on the court, and then we'll see if Miles Turner is able to play tonight. But I think he can be a good value play. He's also a good defensive player in getting blocks and steals. Power forward, Wood seems to be a little bit too expensive on FanDuel at 98. Sabonis looks fine at 96. You can go to Boucher, who looks nice at only 8,100. Then you have Gordon at 7,000. But probably look to like see if Tillman is power forward eligible. He's 4,600 though. So in that scenario, probably just go to Brendan Clark at 65. And then you could look to Tillman if you wanted to at 46, but the other guys to look at are maybe Draymond Green at 54 as a cheap play, Covington at only 4,800, and then Tillman if you wanted to go that route. And then at center here, you have, I think Drummond is too expensive with Jared Allen in there today. Vucevic is kind of a little bit too expensive as well, just with the other guys I want to spend up on. So probably look to like Enes Kanter at 63, and then you also have DeAndre Jordan at only 48. So Jordan looks like a nice play. James Wiseman is 44, so he got into foul trouble last game at 5 fouls in like under 20 minutes. So hopefully he doesn't do that again. But I think Jordan against the Cavs, big team, he's gonna have to be out there, and probably will get you. Maybe he has a chance to get a double-double tonight. But 48 just looks really nice on FanDuel. So that's pretty much it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and best of luck tonight.